There was no time for kisses or goodbyes as they tore my mother's hand from mine. I tried to hold on to the hope in her hazel eyes, but all thought was lost when the SS shoved her to the left and ordered me to the right. I stumbled along the dirt path, wondering how hope could survive in the shadows. Hope flew on the yellow wings of a butterfly, sailing over my grandmother's garden. I'd heard it in the soft pink tune of a prayer at my mother's lips, and felt it in the dove-gray touch of my father's fingers against my cheek. In the last few days, all the color had been stripped from my life. I wouldn't know color again until I met Tikva. In a world of black and white, Tikva became my paintbrush. On April 23rd, President Obama gave a speech at the Holocaust Remembrance Ceremony. He said, "How do we ensure that never again isn't just an empty slogan or merely an aspiration, but a call into action?" I believe we start by doing what we are doing today, by bearing witness, and by fighting the silence that is evil's greatest co-conspirator. Here is one young girl's story may we never forget, The Color of Hope by Andrea Rosenbaum. Minutes after arriving at the labor camp, German soldiers ordered us toward a warehouse where we surrendered our clothes and our dignity. The others cried, and I cringed as our hair was shorn off. We were processed, cataloged, and tattooed with numbers that would replace our names. Then we numbly moved back outside to the brick barracks. Dressed in prisoner's rags, we climbed to the top of the wooden bunks, but as I crawled toward a wall, my head bumped into something solid. "I am willing to share this poor excuse of a bed with you because it means warmth. I am even willing to put up with your tears because I've shed my own. But bumping heads is not an option. I'm Tikva. Here, take this," ordered a voice from the darkness as a rag doll was shoved into my hands. "It'll make you feel better." I was stunned into silence by her sudden presence. I was 13 and had given up toys some years earlier, but I clung to the comfort that enveloped me as I hugged that doll closer to my chest. Tikva talked on, as if it had been years since she found somebody that would listen. She told me about her home in Prague, and about her sisters, Lita, Frida, and Ruthie, about her parents that she hadn't seen since transport. As my eyes started to close, Tikva hummed the Yiddish lullaby that my mother had sung to me as a child, and slowly, my weary body gave in to sleep. Tikva wasn't next to me when I awoke the next morning, but she mentioned she sometimes worked sewing uniforms for the SS. I didn't see her in the lines as we were marched out to the field to dig ditches, but I grabbed a shovel and began my work. Before long, I was weak with exhaustion. Blisters covered my hands, and cold, slick mud covered my entire body. My back and arms burned from the strain, and I didn't think I could go on. When just then, I felt a tap on the back of my shoulder. "See that man over there?" Tikva whispered, pointing to an overstuffed, pillow-bellied officer. "I'll bet his underwear has big, red polka dots on it." I felt the corners of my mouth turn up as I looked away from the man's fat form. I smiled silently at Tikva. I worked till the dinner bell. Hunger became the only certainty in my life. There was never enough food, and what we did have was hardly fit to swallow. I remember sitting on the cold stone floor one day, staring at my meager portion, thinking how easy it would be never to take another bite. "Oh, you got a piece of potato," Tikva said, pointing to the thin brown shavings swimming around in my bowl. "If you crumble up your bread into it and close your eyes, it almost tastes like beef stew." Doubtfully, I did as she said and put the spoon to my lips. Only the courage in her voice made me ignore the gritty texture and swallow. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Tikva asked me one night. Before the war, I wanted to be a doctor like my father, or a teacher like my mother, but now, with only a ragtag doll to call my own, all I wanted was to be free. Free to hold a book or to go to the cinema. Free to bathe in hot soapy suds. Free to stand on the ocean shore and paint wavy strokes of aquamarine, creamy white, and cerulean blue. Well, I think you'd make an inspired artist. And I'll own a dress shop with only the most finest fashions, but not in Prague, and never in Vienna. So, I took Tikva's words, and I tucked them into my heart, just like the rag doll she'd given me. And I thought how right it was that Tikva's name meant hope. In May, Russian soldiers arrived like angels to bring us to freedom. And the confusion and the liberation, I crawled through the camp searching for Tikva, but I couldn't find her anywhere. Trembling, I hid beneath my bunk until a soldier came and pulled me out. I screamed, and I fought with what little strength I had. "That one's crazy," a girl named Margot told the soldier. "What?" I screamed. "I'm not crazy!" She pointed her bony hand out the window to the heaps of garbage in the shallow massive graves beyond. I guess you can't blame her for talking to ghosts after having lived here. "Ghosts?" I shouted. "What do you mean, ghosts?" "Your Tikva? There is no Tikva. Maybe a girl by that name once slept where you sleep now, but she's gone, just like the rest of them." "No!" I cried, overcome with disbelief at her cruelty. "It can't be! It can't be!" I reached for the doll that I kept close to me every night that would prove that Tikva was just as real as I was, but like a dream, the doll had just vanished. I remember waking up in the makeshift infirmary set up at the camp hospital. I'll never forget that 1.5 million children had no Tikva. I used to wonder if Tikva only lived in my dreams, but I no longer think it matters. When I had lost everything, I found Tikva, and with her, hope.